Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit now about the process that you go through. The first thing is you're writing your book. You are doing first drafts. One editor friend of mine calls it the ugly first draft, UFD, ugly first draft, right? You get it working, you go through multiple editing, self-editing, you find yourself an editor, you submit it for editing, and this process happens right up front. Then you're going to go through the editing process, and there's multiple different types of editing. There's developmental, there's line editing, copy editing, proofreading. So there's a number of different types of edits. In the developmental, which is really critical when you're first starting writing, the editor will work with you to make sure that your story flows well. It builds up to the action builds and then drops. You've got a beginning, a middle, and end that flows well. You've got action moving through your story. So they will help you to make sure that you've got a well-crafted story. When you start getting into, toward the end, they'll start more line edits, copy edits, proofreading, fixing punctuation and things like that. So these are some of the other steps. And then at the end of the editing process, I always recommend a copyright. Next, you're going to get into the illustrations. Now, I'm assuming that you are a children's book author. So if you're just publishing a nonfiction book or a memoir, perhaps there's no illustration needed and you can skip this part. But for those of you who are writing children's books, your illustrator is going to do things like storyboarding, which is very rough sketches all the way through your story. They're going to build characters, design your characters with you. You'll get more refined sketches. And then as the sketches are approved, then they turn into coloring. And of course, a cover illustration for you as well. So that process tends to be the longest when you're a children's book author to get done. That's the greatest length of this whole process. So I have selected and curated a bunch of fantastic illustrators that my people can work with in order to make sure that we're going to be able to work through things within the 12-week period that I do with my courses. So if you're wanting to make sure that this is not going to end up turning into 6 months, then there's some things that I can help and share with you on how to make sure this process works well and that you're choosing people that are going to be professional. Next, here we have the formatting process, and some people call it the design and formatting process. But it's the person who's going to take the words that you've already finalized, the pictures that your illustrator put together, and create a beautiful flowing design that is going to make it start looking like a picture book. So all of that happens. And then from there, they move forward with creating the files, delivering you the files that then will be those that will turn into your finished book. At that point, you move forward through to publishing. There's pre-launch activities that are always really helpful when you're getting ready to publish your book. There's a lot of things like maybe putting a launch team together, putting your book on pre-order. You're going to upload, you're going to maybe order a proof copy or two, go through that, make sure everything's looking good, and then you're going to launch your book. And then, of course, all the way through this process, not just at the end, all the way through this process, we are doing planning and we're doing marketing. Maybe at the beginning of the process, marketing is more like, hey guys, I'm writing a book. And if you want to follow me, I just put a page together. You can follow me there. Maybe you do some sneak peeks and you talk about what things you're passionate about. You talk about the topic of your book. Maybe you share some things, build relationships with organizations or influencers that are, write about the topics that you are including in your book. And so as you move forward, and with my course, every single week of the 12 weeks, we have a marketing activity to teach you and to talk about and to get you sharing your journey with your readers and your perfect avatar, that perfect person that is going to be looking for your book and want to jump right in and grab it as soon as it's ready. So we build that knowledge. We practice some things along the way so that when you publish, it is not going to be to crickets, right? We want to make sure people know it's coming and that you do a good job and you get the reviews you need so that the book starts selling. So that's the process of self-publishing that we go through.